he warns the world. In the ancient Near East, before the flood, corruption spreads and violence fills the earth. You will witness the building of an ark, the coming storm, and a covenant with the Maker. This is the real story. Noah is a righteous man living among a violent generation. He listens when God speaks and obeys what most ignore. His life becomes the axis on which the fate of animals and family will turn. As the story begins, corruption fills the earth and human hearts turn violent. God sees that every plan of the human imagination has become evil. In that day, the divine grief is active. Judgment is now considered because the world is broken beyond repair. In that moment, God addresses Noah and names the reason for judgment. God declares that he will destroy all flesh because of widespread violence. But he instructs Noah to build an ark to preserve life. The command is both warning and rescue. As the conversation continues, God gives precise dimensions and instructions for the ark: length, width, height, compartments, and the covering of pitch. These details show the seriousness of the rescue and that survival requires obedience and careful work. As Noah receives the plan, he begins to build. He calls his family and the few who will listen. People mock and scoff, but Noah measures, saws, and fits planks. His obedience turns into a community task that stands against the tide of wickedness. As the ark rises from the ground, animals come by pairs and sevens as instructed. The gathering is deliberate: clean animals by sevens, unclean by pairs. This order preserves species and sacrificial possibility afterwards, and reveals God's concern for ritual as well as life. When the ark is finished and the animals aboard, the door is shut. In that closing there is finality. The world outside continues in its course, oblivious or hostile, while inside a remnant waits. The shutting is a decisive act of separation and preservation. As the door is sealed, the sky breaks. In that instant, the fountains of the deep burst, and the windows of heaven open. Rain and subterranean waters combine. The storm is both above and below. The flood rises and engulfs the foundations of the world. For 40 days and 40 nights the rain continues without pause. In that time, the ark rides the storm. Inside, Noah tends animals and family, while the world outside is overwhelmed. The number marks a period of testing and completion in ancient thought. As days pass, waters prevail and mountains are covered. In that unfolding, God judges a violent humanity by water that spares a single household. The scene communicates both the severity of divine judgment and the reality of preservation for the obedient. When the waters begin to abate, the ark comes to rest on the mountains of Ararat. In that quieting, Noah waits and watches. The stillness after the storm signals a shift from destruction to the possibility of renewal and requires patient waiting. As the waters subside, Noah sends out first a raven, then a dove. The raven does not return. The dove returns first empty, then with an olive leaf. These actions serve as practical tests of the landscape and as symbolic signs of life returning to the earth. When Noah opens the ark, people and beasts come out onto a changed earth. The ground is cleansed, and the family steps into a strange new normal. Culturally, this is a refounding moment. Humanity will restart, and rituals and laws will be necessary for order. After leaving the ark, Noah builds an altar and offers burnt offerings. In that act, God smells a pleasing aroma and speaks again. God promises never to curse the ground for man's sake, or to destroy all living creatures by a flood. The sacrifice marks covenantal renewal. In that conversation, God sets a sign, the rainbow in the clouds. God declares the rainbow as the token of the covenant, a promise that the cycles of nature will continue, and that a flood to destroy all flesh will never again be used as divine judgment. After the promise, God blesses Noah and his sons, commanding them to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. This blessing repeats the ancient mandate to steward creation and signals a theological reset. Humanity is given a renewed commission under mercy. In that renewed order, God sets limits. Meat may be eaten with the blood drained, and God declares that whoever sheds human blood will be held accountable. These regulations protect life and establish a moral boundary after the catastrophe. When settlement begins, Noah tills the soil and replants creation. In that labor, he embodies a theology of restart. Work now includes restoration and care. The story closes on human responsibility under divine mercy and an oath that the world will endure. After these events, the memory of the flood and the sign of the rainbow become a covenant for generations. In that communal retelling, families teach restraint, justice, and reverence for life. The flood story thus functions as law, memory, and moral instruction. As time moves on, the flood shapes human memory and law. In that aftermath, societies form around the covenantal promises and the moral limits laid down. The narrative teaches that divine patience accompanies justice and that mercy demands responsibility. Finally, the flood echoes through Scripture as both warning and hope. In that theological memory, the ark becomes a symbol of salvation, the flood a reminder of moral consequence, and the rainbow an enduring sign that God binds himself to creation. The flood teaches that God judges violence, but preserves a faithful remnant and renews creation with a promise. The rainbow is not mere beauty. It is a covenant sign that life will continue under divine restraint. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe to the channel and tap the bell so you do not miss the next one.